Hi, Perry again. I haven't uploaded in a while. And, in fact, YouTube reminded me of that in a not so nice way. They said if I didn't fix it in 30 days, they would demonetize my channel because I dropped below the threshold for being part of the YouTube Partner Program. So I was thinking, well, how do I do that? And the best story that I have right now is, how did I lose 80 pounds in 7 months? Yes, I did lose 80 pounds. No, I did not use any medications. I didn't do any fad diets. And I didn't starve myself. But before I go into the details of how I did that, um, you need to get in touch with a medical professional. Talk to your doctor before you start doing anything like this. I did. I went to my doctor. I got my blood work done to make sure that what I was doing was safe. And for me, it was fine. So, what worked for me may not work for you, but I will tell you how I did it because maybe it'll help you. So, a little over a year ago, my wife passed away, and I found myself, I had lost about 7 pounds. And I said, oh, gee, I lost 7 pounds. And, honestly, I hadn't taken my health really that seriously in a very long time. I was actually more focused on my wife's health for the last almost 20 years. And because I hadn't taken it seriously, I had a number of sort of typical issues that are related to being overweight, as well as, hereditary and so forth. And so I treated it like I treat anything else. I put my mind to it, and I scienced it out. So the first thing I started doing, the very first thing I did was, you have to figure out what your basal metabolic rate is. Now, I have a Samsung watch, and I entered my information about weight, height, and age into my watch, and it told me what my basal metabolic rate was, and it was pretty close to 2,000 calories, which, 2,000 calories a day is sort of your normal, at least what the FDA considers, FDA? I don't know. You see it on the back of boxes. So, 2,000 calories, and there isn't really like a big secret about losing weight. It's caloric deficit. So basically, you have to take in less calories than you expend, and in a normal day, without exercise, which is called activity calories, your basal metabolic rate dictates how many calories you're going to burn. This is just your body working, your brain working, you're going about every day. Now, that being said, I do think activity plays a role in your metabolism, because what I did, I started the spreadsheet, started tracking the calories of what I was taking. I set a goal for every day. Basically started out with, what's my BMR? Let's put that in my spreadsheet. Then I tracked how many calories I was eating, and I tracked the deficit. And then I picked a target. And at first I was just a little too aggressive. I picked 1,500 calories as a target. Yeah, I couldn't achieve 1,500 calories off the bat. That was just way too much. Or way too much of a deficit for me. So I just kind of ate what felt comfortable, which worked out to about 1,800 calories. But activity calories is important as well. So my doctor had been asking me to exercise 30 minutes 5 days a week. And so what I started out doing was I had a treadmill at home, so I was doing 30 minutes every other day. And I started that like November 8th of 2023, I think. So I started doing that every other day, and then it kind of felt wrong to not be doing it. Like I was doing it, and then I wanted to do it every day. So then I started walking every day for 30 minutes. And walking, exercising isn't where you burn all your calories. The amount of calories that you burn is a function of time. So if you walk for 30 minutes, you're going to burn X amount of calories. If you walk for 60 minutes, you're going to burn twice as many calories. So, and it's only in really sort of extreme scenarios that you will burn a lot of calories. And that's sort of the next part of where calories come from. So your body, the core energy that your body runs off of is called ATP. And ATP comes from several different sources within your body. There's carbohydrates / glucose, there's fatty acids, and then there's protein. And your body consumes them preferentially in that order. So you might have heard of runners carb loading, or carb loading for exercising. That's because they want to have a bunch of available glucose in their blood, or in their body, to use as energy, because your body will preferentially use that. And there's also some more science behind that, in that if you start using a heart rate tracker, which my watch does, you have different heart rate zones, 1 through 5. Your max heart rate for most of these is based off of your age. So it's 208 minus your age is something like that, is your max heart rate. So that's where the top of 5, maxes out as whatever the calculated max is. Anyway, so heart rate zone 2, which in my case I think is between 90 and 120 beats per minute. Heart rate zone 2 is where you're getting exercise, but you're not overly exerting yourself. It's what's called the weight control range, and that I think it's roughly 65% of the calories that you burn are from fatty acids. It takes about 10 minutes for your body to sort of start breaking down and using fatty acids for energy. So that's where the length of exercise comes into play. So your body will start breaking down the fatty acids. Once you get into the aerobic range, it goes from a 65% fatty acids to 50%. So you're burning 50% carbs, 50% fatty acids. Now, I'm riding a bicycle right now, and my heart rate is, well, I don't trust the watch. I found that when riding the bicycle, the watch isn't particularly accurate. It says 86. Maybe it's true, I don't know. But I've got another heart rate tracker that goes on my forearm, which is far more accurate. But the point being is, so let's say you're riding a bicycle rather aggressively, you're going to be riding up in the aerobic and anaerobic range. And once you hit the anaerobic range, your body stops breaking down fats and it's just going straight for the glucose. And the problem with that is that so you have your sort of free available glucose from what you ate, and then you have your stored energy reserves, the glycogen that's in your muscles. And so you start, bicycle racing, and you don't get enough glucose. You can't process the fatty acids, and then you bonk, as they call it. I've done that a couple of times. It's not pleasant. You feel like you caught the flu. And so that's that's a warning. So the point is that if you're going to lose weight, you have to look at it from a more measured approach. You can't just go crazy because you go really aggressive. You're not going to lose the weight. You're just going to bonk, and you're going to wonder, well, I'm doing all this effort. I'm going out there. I'm burning all these calories. Why am I not losing the weight? Well, it's because you're not in the right range. You need to dial the intensity back a bit. So everybody has asked me, like, well, what diet are you on to lose this weight? And I said, well, I didn't use any specific diet. I call it my way. Now, there's a variety of sort of diet disciplines, I guess you would call it. There's fad ones, keto, etc., so on and so forth. Well, at the core of keto, or one of the core principles of keto, is I think it's less than 55 grams of carbs per day. Well, I was consuming less than 50 grams of, my benchmark was basically less than 50 grams of carbs, and I cut out drinking sugary sodas. I stuck with a routine. For me, routine's important, and having cereal in the morning was something that I did to sort of get my brain functioning. So every morning, same thing, Raisin Bran Crunchy, 200 calories with 15 calories of unsweetened almond milk. And so I started out with a routine, keeping it on the spreadsheet. And so less than 50 grams of carbs. For dinner, no carbs in the dinner. For lunch, it was a balance of carbs and proteins, but what I looked for, so there's a basic principle, and that is 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So when looking at, for me, for convenience, frozen lunches, I looked at sort of what I considered what was a fair trade, in the sense that was it worth it for the calories? If something had, say, 18 grams of calories and was 490 or 18 grams of protein and 490 calories, that wasn't really a good trade-off for me. But if something was 22 or 23 grams of protein and 250 calories, that hit, right in the spot that I wanted. And so I was picking lunches based on, I tried to target about 250 calories. And so my sort of starting out breakfast, like somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 calories, lunch 250 calories, so that's 500 calories. And moving forward, it's ultimately I got down to 1,250 calories per day, and I was losing about, on average, it was about 11 pounds a month. 10, it fluctuated. So over a 7-month period, I lost 80 pounds, which was totally safe for me. And I have kept my weight at that for, it's been 6 months now, 6 or 7 months. I plateaued, which is something that you have to understand about weight loss, is that you will have plateaus. There will be weeks where you don't lose anything, and then all of a sudden, in my case, I'd lose 4 pounds overnight. I can't explain it. That's just how my body was. I would have these big drops in weight, and then it would kind of dither a bit, go up and down, and then it would settle, and then it would just drop. And it was kind of this sort of stair step for weight loss. That's just how my body worked. So For dinner, what I tried to do was target like 6 ounces of protein for dinner. So, like 6 ounces of steak or chicken or whatever. I prefer steak and chicken. I don't particularly like pork. Uh, I don't like fish, and so that was, my strategy. And then I did usually it was by the book. It would have been anywhere from 1.5 to 2 servings of vegetables. And I targeted dinner to be around 500 calories. And so if you're adding that up, that's only 1,000 calories. Well, where did the other calories come from? Well, that's where smart snacking comes into play. Um, the idea being that I would sort of fill in the hungry areas with things like cheese, which cheese has fat, it has carbohydrates, it has protein, but the point being is that your snacks need to be satisfying. You need to be satisfied by what you're eating, otherwise you're going to eat more. You're going to consume more calories that have a higher impact on your waistline, um, and you're not going to be able to stick to your plan. So I found that sliced cheese was really good. The sort of one of the secrets too is portion control. So it's really hard to have portion control when you buy stuff in large bags or uh, you know a big box. So the idea is you try to look for products where they are broken down into smaller portions. Like, for instance, one of the things that I liked, because I like salt, is the Ritz peanut butter crackers. 200 calories for 6 crackers. Not an especially good trade-off, but it was satisfying. And because one package was 200 calories, I was able to portion control. And that's just, really one of the bigger secrets is portion control. So it's really hard in this society to control your portions of what you eat. And so um, the secret to controlling how much you eat is controlling your portions. Um, let's see, what else? What else are some of the secrets or some of the things that I would share? Your body, when you lose a lot of weight in a short period of time, it does weird things. Ask any woman who's had a child. Uh, you may get, how should I put this? You may not like the way that you look, even though you lost the weight. And that's something that's really hard to live with, is looking at yourself and saying, I like what I see. Because, you worry about what other people think too, because our society is built on opinions of what other people think about us. And so, that's something that you should be aware of, and don't get upset. Understand that it's a process, and understand that over time things will normalize, and as they normalize, uh, you will begin to be accustomed to what you see. Um, I sort of had this plan from the beginning. I was like, last October, so October 2023, I set a goal I was going to lose. At that point, my goal weight, just sort of arbitrarily, was 92 pounds less than what was my maximum weight that I had weighed in at the doctor's. And so I had set that goal, and my plan was to lose the weight, and then I was going to start working out, weightlifting, build my muscles, etc. Well, I plateaued, and I was a little sort of disappointed with myself, or disappointed in myself because I had plateaued and I had stopped losing weight. But then I just said, you know what? I'm not going to wait until I hit some magical number to improve myself. So I decided that I would just start, weightlifting, which I'd injured my shoulder last year because I went to the gym and I was too aggressive. I didn't do things right, and I hurt it. And after 6 months, it wasn't better, so I went to physical therapy, and I did physical therapy for 6 weeks or so, something like that, and I learned what I needed to and was able to recover enough during PT that I was able to go to the gym, and I've been going to the gym pretty regularly. I try to go 3 days a week, which has been a little bit challenging with my work schedule, but so I guess the takeaway was, don't wait until you reach some goal to start improving yourself in other ways. Just start doing the other improvements. And for me, I'm happy with that, because it goes back to that, you're not happy with the way you look. Well, I am actually, my happiness quotient has improved as a result of going to the gym, because I go to the gym and, I surprise myself. I'm like, okay, well, I'm seeing results. I'm seeing things look better. My clothes are fitting, even though the scale is telling me that I'm not losing more weight. My waist is getting smaller because my pants are fitting looser. And so some stats for you, because there's some people that like to hear that. So I lost 10 inches off my waist, 10 or 12 inches off my waist. I went down 5 men's pant sizes, which, those are in 2-inch increments. And I went from wearing 3XL to wearing an XL. And an XL isn't even snug on me, it ain't even tight. An XL has just the right amount of looseness for me. And I can just, go off the rack and buy XL shirts, and my pants are XL sized, which, to give you some context, I weigh less now than I weighed in high school. I am also probably fitter now than I was in high school, which is kind of crazy to think, but right around my birthday, I had planned a trip to go visit some family, and then they caught COVID, so I'd taken time off for that, and so I just decided, well, I'll just take the time off for myself, but I'll do something else with it. And so I bought this bicycle, and this is the first bicycle I bought in almost 30 years. And so I started riding, and the first month I rode 125 miles. After 2 months, I rode like about 250 miles. And then I kind of got the bug, and another bicycle I bought, fixed that one up, and I started getting the itch. I'm like, oh, So then I bought another bicycle, and now I'm 3 bicycles deep after a few months, which how should I put it? Not exactly conducive to the pocketbook, but so I can get out and I can enjoy this area out here. Um, and I've really learned to appreciate the uh, the area that I live. You know, Klamath Falls area. There's a lot of bicycling opportunities. There's a lot of trails, and today, well, the last 2 days, uh, there's just been this sort of persistent hoarfrost, HOAR, hoar as in boar, frost, that has clung to everything. It's really beautiful. It's interesting because I've only ever seen that in the mornings, but it's been hanging around for like 48 hours and it is super cold and I am freezing right now. So hopefully this will help you. If you stuck around to the end, I'll give you some raw numbers because I've told enough people. At my heaviest, I was 322 pounds. I'm currently 240 pounds, and I'm satisfied with that. And so we'll see where things go in the future. But I just thought I'd share that because maybe it'll help you. Maybe somebody that sees this will be encouraged and it'll help them. They'll live longer because of it. So, well, thanks for watching. Catch you later.